Hey guys, welcome back. I'm David and we're here in my shop where I build E-War guitars. In this episode we're going to get into how I mixed a little epoxy in with this Buckeye Burl and did some cool back and a top for it. Anyway, if you think you might dig that, stick around. You might like it. Well, so here we are. Before I get going and show you how I did it, I kind of wanted to drop back a little bit and show you sort of the finished product here. So this is it. This is going to be the back, and this one here is going to be my top inlay. This is the shape I'm going to cut out, and this is going to make the top. I'm going to inlay in this into this piece of my ash body blank here. They're both very thin. They're about a 1/4 inch thick. The back one, I'm still going to laminate some dark walnut veneer onto the back of this, because when it's glued on there I want that little detail line going around the edge to divide the Buckeye Burl from the ash. I think that'll be pretty cool, especially if I decide to stain the ash. That'll be a nice dark dividing line to where I could cut off my stain there. But anyway, so this video I'm going through the process. It was quite a learning deal for me doing this Buckeye Burl and epoxy especially. I never messed with epoxy, never messed with Buckeye Burl before either. But it was pretty cool. I took a big 2 1/4 inch thick slab and I wound up getting it down. I book matched these two pieces and I wound up getting it down to this. And it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun though too. It was really cool. I love learning new stuff. I love this epoxy. Once I got it figured out, I messed up a bunch of stuff. You know, I think in Winston Churchill has some kind of a saying that you know, being successful in life means being able to move from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. Well, I lost my enthusiasm a couple times, but I kept going, and I think it turned out really cool. In fact, I've got some naphtha here to really bring out the color in this. I wanted to show you what this stuff is going to look like once I start getting a finish on it. I don't know if you could see it in the camera, but this I did a 2 different color epoxy, and to me it looks like churning water swirling up in here and then flowing out into the bottom. This one here, you could see the shape of the back of the body on the guitar, and on this one you can see this is the cutout of the inlay I'm going to do, and I'm going to recess that down into the ash top so it's flush. But that one too, this blue, the 2 different color blues I used on the epoxy really turned out cool. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was a big learning process for me, but I managed to get through it, and I wanted to kind of show the process of doing this Buckeye Burl with epoxy in this video. You know, I started out this thing saying I got a couple of big question marks I wasn't sure about, and this was one of them. Whether or not I could do this and get it to look good, and the other one was this really old piece of Douglas fir I'm using for this neck here. And it was acting up a little bit in the beginning, but by the time I got it cut down several times and planed and everything worked out, it's staying real stable now. I'm still going to cut in a couple of carbon fiber rods, reinforcement rods into this. It'll go under the fretboard. But anyway, I got some big question marks out of the way, so I got to get this video done, then I can get on to milling up this body and recessing that top. I still got to make all my templates and everything, which I haven't done yet. And but anyway, so in this video I'm going to cover these 2 tops here and how I brought them from a slab of Buckeye Burl into this, and I hope you all dig it. Let's get into it right now. Okay, I think I've got everything ready to go. I've got my scale here, I've got my little mixing cups here, I've got my this is the hardener, that's the epoxy I'm going to use, that's the hardener for it, and that's the epoxy. I've got my scale. It measures 100 parts of epoxy to 83 parts of the hardener. I've got my vac little thing here to help hopefully suck the bubbles out of the epoxy before I pour it into the mold. I've got my mold over here. Let me show you that. Oh, I got my colorants too. That's going to be, I'm doing 2 different layers. That's going to be 1 layer, and this one here, this Pearl-X, is going to be the top layer. That makes the top layer. One's a powder and one's a liquid. I've got my mold over here and it's all set to go. There's my top laying inside. I've got it set. I've cleaned up all the edges. I got all the junk out of there. See these little guys right here? Those are little wedge things. When I put the top in there, I'm going to wedge it up like so. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to mix the liquid colorant, which will make like a transparent blue. And without the top in there, I'm going to fill this entire bottom of this thing with a very thin layer of that. And I'm going to set the top down in it. Then I'm going to use these squeegees. I got some squeegees right here. I'm going to use some squeegees, and I'm going to smear the epoxy across the top of this. And it's only going to come up, it's only going to come up a little ways in the total thickness, but I want to be able to seal this whole thing first to try to trap air bubbles that are going to be coming out of the pores of the wood before I do my top on there. And then once that gels up, I'll be able to mix up some of that powdered mix and colorant, and I'll mix another coat of epoxy, and then I'll pour it across the whole top of the thing. And hopefully I won't get any bubbles coming out. I did yesterday with the other one, but I used my little heat gun here, and that seemed to work pretty good. So anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna get set up over here. I'm gonna start measuring and mixing, and hopefully we'll have success with this. Anyway, so here we go.
Once we're out the door, leave your message here on the telephone, 'cause we've no idea when we're coming home. Any place we wander to, any season we go through, I'll be fine as long as I'm with you. Heaven knows, heaven knows, running round the world with you. When you smile, I smile too. How I ever made it without you. Heaven knows, heaven knows. I feel the weather changing, better get out soon. Don't let go of my hand, no matter what you do. Well, I'm here for you, through the thick and thin. We're on a winding road that never ends. Any place we wander to, any season we go through, I'll be fine as long as I'm with you. Heaven knows, heaven knows, running round the world with you. When you smile, I smile too.
Okay. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty nice. Okay. Okay, they haven't started to heat up or anything, so that's good. So now let me try to flip this camera around, or I can show you what I'm doing here. Let me check. Okay, that looks pretty close. So now, we're gonna pour both these guys in here.
I slept all night on a big white ship. Seagulls were dancing all around. I woke up with a sunrise on the sea. Such a priceless gift to me. The salty breeze and the waves, the slow pace, the salty breeze and the waves. No matter where I play. Yesterday we followed the road of the moon. We drove all day towards the coast. It remembered me the beauty of this life. Such a feeling to be alive. The salty breeze in my lungs. And back to where I'm from. The salty breeze in my lungs. On and on and on and on. Salty breeze and the waves, the slower pace. The salty breeze and the waves.
All right, so it's time to take this thing apart. It's been probably about 19 to 20 hours since this got poured last night. And this particular epoxy, it fully cures in between 16 and 24 hours, depending on the climate and everything and the conditions. And so we're right in between that, and I can feel it. It feels pretty well cured to me. So I'm excited. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm ready to pop it out of the form. So off comes the top. We'll put that away for later. All right. I think that's really cool. I think that looks really cool. Of course, all this whole top layer is going to get sanded all the way back down to the wood because I want a wood guitar, not a plastic one. But I just wanted to show you. I think it looks really cool in the form. I love that combination of colors. I actually really like the way the green, it looks green on top of the wood, which gives me some thoughts about staining. But we'll see when we get there. I may just want to keep the wood natural too.
Surrounded by the sea, my art is free. The salty breeze and the waves, the slow pace. The salty breeze and the waves, I'm at the right place.
Nice. Isn't that cool too? There's the back of the lion's head. That color of the wood, I think, is about how it's going to turn out once I get finish on it. Pretty cool. But this was a more symmetrical side here. Man, I think that looks really freaking cool.
working like a dog, day and night, trying to finish up this job and do it right. There's only a few things that a man like me needs, and Jesus whiskey, and you're right next to me, singing, hey, honey, I'm coming home. I don't know why you've gone so long. Hey, honey, I'm coming home to you. Said, hey, honey, promise please that you're gonna leave the light on for me. Hey, honey, I'm coming home soon. You know what we're gonna do. Heaven knows that you put your time into it. Hell of a woman, sweet red wine, and how you choose. Well, let's get one thing straight, it ain't about what you do for me. Well, I'm gonna love you, and I love you loving me. Singing, hey, honey, coming home. I don't know why I've been gone so long. Hey, honey, I'm coming home to you. Said, hey, honey, promise please that you're gonna leave the light on for me. Hey, honey, I'm coming home soon. You know what we're gonna do, yeah. Coming home, I don't know why I've been gone so long. Hey, honey, coming home, I don't know why I've been gone so long. Said, hey, honey, coming home, I don't know why I've been gone so long. Said, hey, honey, coming home to you.